All right. All right, everybody. All right. Hey, everybody, how you doing? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black at Night Show. As you know, this show is brought to you by justinform.com, a social media website that does not steal your data, does not track you as you go around the internets. It's just there for you to have conversations with like-minded people on important issues, and some not so important. Go to justinform.com and become a member and tell them Tim Black sent you. All right, guys. We got a lot going on. We got a lot to get to, so let's get to it. Let's get to it. Wow. Wow, people, what's happening? What's going on in your world today? That's right, Tim Black at Night Show is here. I know this should go without mentioning, but I got to mention it just in case somebody's new. I am not funded by the DNC. I am not funded by the GOP. Any alphabet soup. People that support this show are the people that fund this show. People that watch this show fund this show. And we'll get to that at the end of the show, where you can become a part of Team Black, Tim Black's Wolfpack. But gosh darn it, we got so much news to get to, it's just overwhelming. Man, for real, guys, there's a lot happening. Some of it's just plain silly. But somewhere within the silliness, there lays truth. As a new feature of the Tim Black at Night Show, and many other shows that I do, we have a chat function. So let's get that initiated. What's up, Pat? Let's get this going. Now I'm connecting my people on Facebook. I got my people on YouTube here, all right? It's a beautiful thing. Let me go this way. Here we go. That's the way you want to go, Tim Black. Go that way. All right, guys. So let me say hello to everybody out there on Periscope, everybody on Facebook, everybody on YouTube. What's going on? Glad you could make it. It's Tuesday, or what they like to call in the White House, ready to catch a bruise day, because that's what Sarah Huckabee Sanders caught. So we're going to talk about Sarah today. Yeah, we got to bring her up. We're going to talk about Sarah Huckabee Sanders. We're going to talk about Keith Ellison. We're going to talk about the ongoing thing with Omarosa, and we're also going to talk about the feud between Omarosa and Donald Trump. But I wanted to mention this. A friend of the show, Joseph Malagna. Joe, my brother, he sent me a tip, something I didn't know. Now I know it. He says that he went to the InfoWars website owned by Alex Jones, and that his website was down. His website is down. Something about a DDoS, a denial of service attack since the censorship. If it's permanently gone, I think it's something worth mentioning, says Joe. He goes on to say, I know a lot of people don't like him, but taking a man's site away after all these years, excuse me, guys, is just wrong. If the precedent is they can take away people's sites and social media profiles, then we're living in dark times. And there are dark times ahead of us for independent people in the sea of establishment towers of the line. So give it up for my man Joe for sending that info. Now, I've heard people say that, what happened with Alex Jones, we should not support it. We should not support him. Don't be caping for Alex Jones. Man, I don't cape for anyone. I support people who I think deserve support, and sometimes I support issues. In the case of Alex Jones, I support issue. The issue is I don't like corporations telling me what we can and can't do. And when you're as big as YouTube, when you're as big as Google, when you're as big as Spotify, when you're as big as iTunes, then you kind of control the market. So you are effectively shut down. Like, it's not like you can just go somewhere else. I mean, until I cut the cord, I was held hostage by Comcast. And I still am for my internet. There is no alternative, man. It's like saying, well, just get another ISP. Where you live at? And I live right outside of Washington, D.C., a metropolitan area, the epicenter of metropolitan areas for the country, if not the world, is Washington, D.C. And it's still cordoned off where if you live in one area, you get one ISP. If you live in another area, you get another ISP. So this whole thing, like when you start unpacking what people are trying to say, it don't make much sense, man. Well, anyway, yeah, that's how I feel about that, and that's the news on Alex Jones. Something I meant to mention the other day before we get to today's news, Danny DeVito, he made a comment about the Democrats and about Trump. And I want to share it with you guys. Danny DeVito, you know Danny DeVito, actor, director. Danny DeVito, he says this. He says, they don't care about the people. Now, he's referring to these parties. Danny DeVito has badged members of President Donald Trump's administration, claiming they don't even care about their own grandchildren. They don't care about other people, the 73-year-old actor said while discussing the White House stance on the environment, such as rolling back multiple regulations. This was an interview that Danny DeVito did on the Daily Beast. He also he dubbed the Democrats clowns too. I don't put too much faith in the Democratic Party, said DeVito. During the elections, he threw his support behind Bernie Sanders, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's rival, as we all know. Danny goes on to describe himself as this. He says, I'm a progressive, and I love to see people thinking about universal health care, education for everybody, working on the environment, retooling our industries. So we're giving jobs to people who create sustainable energy systems. Give it up for Danny DeVito. I didn't know Danny DeVito kept it so real. He said he don't have much faith in the Democratic Party. Me either. And I don't like what Trump's been doing with the environment. Earth to Trump supporters, that space program they're talking about, the space war, you might need to live in space. If we destroy this planet, you do get this, right? You do get it. That's why Danny DeVito said you don't care about your grandkids, because where they going to live at? Everybody can't move to Mars. All right. All right, so what we going to go with? Let's go ahead and go with the hot one. Look, guys, don't get me twisted. I'm not a person who wants to sit around talking about Omarosa every damn show. That's the opposite of what I want to do, all right? But what I'm starting to notice in this thing is there are gaffes and problems happening as people start responding and reacting to it. And it starts showing true colors and also some things that I think are newsworthy. So it may not be newsworthy that we have a person who is now, dishing dirt, but some of those tapes are interesting. And what Sarah Huckabee Sanders did today in defense of Donald Trump, it leaves a wide opening for your brother Tim Black to just get through. I could slide through and sprinkle some facts on him. I said I could slide through and sprinkle some facts on him. Here goes the clip of Sarah Huckabee Sanders defending Donald Trump. See if you notice the gaffe she makes, and then we'll talk about it. Now, I hope this is the right one. No, that's the wrong one.
President addressed that question directly via Twitter. I'd refer you back to him. I can certainly say I've never heard him use that term or anything similar.
Have you asked him directly, Sarah?
The president, I didn't have to because he addressed it to the American people all at one time.
Why haven't you asked him directly?
Again, the president answered that question directly on Twitter earlier today.
Can you stand at the podium and guarantee the American people they'll never hear Donald Trump utter the N-word on a recording in any context?
I can't guarantee anything, but I can tell you that the president addressed this question directly. I can tell you that I've never heard it. I can also tell you that if myself or the people that are in this building serving this country every single day, doing our very best to help people all across this country and make it better, if at any point we felt that the president was who some of his critics claim him to be, we certainly wouldn't be here. This is a president who is fighting for all Americans, who is putting policies in place that help all Americans, particularly African Americans. Just look at the economy alone. This president, since he took office in the year and a half that he's been here, has created 700,000 new jobs for African Americans. That's 700,000 African Americans that are working now that weren't working when this president took place. When President Obama left after 8 years in office, he had only created 195,000 jobs for African Americans. President Trump, in his first year and a half, has already tripled what President Obama did in 8 years. Not only did he do that for African Americans, but for Hispanics. 1.7 million more Hispanics are working now. This is a president who cares about all Americans, who is committed to helping them, and is putting policies in place that actually do that. Kevin. Sorry, Kristen, I'm going to go ahead to Kevin. Kevin, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Just to be clear, you can't guarantee it.
Look, I haven't been in every single room. I can tell you the president has addressed this directly. He's addressed it directly to the American people, and I can tell you what the focus and the heart of the president is, and that's on helping all Americans. And certainly, this is somebody who has been in business for decades, and you're just now hearing some of these outrageous accusations after the fact. He's dealt with people all over the world. It wasn't until he became a candidate for president that you started to hear some of these salacious and ridiculous claims. And certainly, I think if you look at the actions that this president has taken, certainly the policies that he's enacted, you can see the heart of who he is, and you can see exactly what he has done and the type of president and person he is. Kevin.
Thank you, Sarah. Just a very
All right, okay. So you heard what Sarah Huckabee Sanders said here. Now, I put a video out on this just before I went to air, okay? So if you want to watch my video where I really go in depth with it, well, I encourage you to do so, because there's some facts and figures I don't want to bore you with here. I will just give you the basic overview. Sarah Huckabee Sanders is wrong. Period. I mean, she's right and she's wrong. She's right about the number of jobs that Trump created. And if she would have been fine with just sticking up for Trump in that area, all would be okay. See, because Trump has created over 700,000 jobs that African Americans were able to somehow get, okay? Like, I don't know how you create a job just for a black person. I don't know how you do that. I mean, if you're a president, you're just like, wait, how do you direct jobs to black people? That would be affirmative action. I don't even understand the concept that, yeah, I gave jobs to black people. What'd you do? You went to, I don't know, how'd you do that? How you specifically, unless you have programs that are focused on the black community that help them get work specifically, then maybe you can make that claim. But I don't know of the programs where Trump has created where he's targeting, trying to help black communities. But be that as it may, let's let that slide, because people want to earn brownie points. See, one of the things that I hear a lot on the internet is how identity politics, right? We hear a lot about identity politics. All right? God. Please, chat people, chat moderators, if you're there, please handle the people that shouldn't be here. Get them out of here. Get them out of here. All right, back to my point. I don't know how you target jobs, but okay, let's leave that alone. People try to say that the only people playing identity politics are Democrats. Well, it sounds like a little identity politics going on here. Nobody asked her how many jobs Trump created for black people. She went right into it as a defense for what Omarosa's saying. Okay, but anyway, here's the bottom line. Trump has created 700,000 jobs that black people did get. Trump has created 1.7 million jobs that Hispanics did get. That's based on the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. It may be even a little higher on the Latino side of the game as far as Hispanics. If she, like I said, if she would have stopped there, she would have been good because that was on point. It's when she wants to throw in Obama and make claims about Obama's jobs record. It's where she goes totally off the rails. I mean, she was on the road, then she was on the shoulder, then she was all up in the woods, bouncing off trees, hitting innocent squirrels. That squirrel didn't do nothing to you. Why are you hitting the squirrel? The squirrel is in its natural habitat, minding its own business, and Sarah is running all through the woods, hitting squirrels and moose, and deer. They weren't even in the road, for God's sake, Sarah. Stay on the road. Okay, so here's the thing. First of all, it makes no sense for her to make this claim. Even a third grader can figure it out. Trump's only been in office a year and a half, 2 years. Want to give him 2 years? Okay, fine. 2 years. Obama was in office 8 years. Do you really want to stick with the claim that Trump has created 3 times as many more jobs as Obama? Now, bear in mind, Obama had a recession. He entered office in a recession. It was going this way. All right? Then it had a sputter, and then it rose. It rose and rose. Under Obama, I'm counting 1 million, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, about 4 million jobs. Black jobs were created under Obama. Now, I don't really like using labor statistics because, to me, it's not an accurate portrayal of where people really are, right? Like, it doesn't count people who stopped looking for work. It doesn't count people who fell off the unemployment lines. It only counts people that are somehow filling out their W-2, okay? And it's not as accurate. It's always been fudged under all presidencies. But since they're both using it, I call it fair. Trump has created about 1 million jobs, 1.6 million jobs, okay? Obama created like 4 million. It's not really a fair comparison when you look at the amount of time. Sarah may have been more correct if she would have said, at this time in Trump's presidency or this time in Obama's presidency, in his first 2 years, Trump's created more jobs. That would be true, but Obama was in a recession, which you can't blame on him because he wasn't in office. It happened under Bush. He came in under that situation. Now, as you all know, people who watch my show regularly know, I have no problem at all calling out Obama when he's wrong. I have no problem at all pinning on Obama what you should pin on him based on what he did. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to my viewers so that Trump supporters feel better. I'm not going to sit here and lie to my viewers so that independent voters feel better. Just won't do it. Fact of the matter is, Obama added a lot of jobs, a lot more jobs than Trump. What Trump can take credit for is the continued growth that he has stewarded over. He didn't crash the thing. Everybody kept saying that Trump would crash job growth, that Trump would crash Wall Street. He didn't. In fact, it's going to continue to go the right way or going a positive direction. That's the truth. Now, a lot of the jobs that have been added to me, based on my research, are more so the gig economy. Uber, Lyft, and also horrible jobs like Amazon warehouse positions. A lot of those jobs really stink. I hate to even consider them jobs. One is akin to slave labor, and the other, well, that's just you out there on your own. Yeah, if you don't have any type of benefits, I don't even know how you consider it a job. Back in the day, you wouldn't even consider that a job. When I was in my 20s, guys, if you didn't have benefits, you were just part-time, you were just freelancing. All right? That no one considered that a job. Now, because of Obama and regulation and lobbying efforts by Uber and Lyft and companies like that, we rewrote our labor categories. We rewrote in order to give those companies the ability to staff up. So what we have now are things that you would not consider full-time employment, things you would not consider to be jobs. You doing something on the weekends, driving people around, that's not considered a job. And you know what? I know a lot of you know it's not sustainable and it's not a real job compared to what your parents may have had, all right? Now, like, I have no problem with people hustling and people doing what they do to make ends meet. One of my good friends drives Uber, okay? But you and I know you need an exit plan from that. But anyway, back to the point. Sarah Huckabee saying this, her statement's wrong, and I'm tired of hearing these people, these conservatives, who keep on using this on black folks. You keep saying this louder and louder. The louder you say it, don't make it true. This was what was happening under Obama. And under Trump, it's doing this. It's not even at the same growth speed. They're taking credit for all of Obama's job growth. That's what they're doing. So what I think it is, and this is just commentary at this point, I think that they don't want to give him credit for anything, and that's fine. I mean, they're on the other side of the team. This is how, it's not fine, but this is the way politics is played, right, in our country. This is what we're disgusted over. We're disgusted by it, but it is par for the course. I don't think if there was a Democrat in office, he'd be given credit to the Republican predecessor. But what I'm trying to say is you can't outright just make up numbers. So when she said Obama only created 195,000 black jobs, total lie. Totally, okay, if it wasn't a lie, total wrong. Wrong, totally wrong, incredibly wrong, big wrong. Okay? When she said that Trump created 700,000 jobs, right, so right, I'm big right. I don't know anybody could be more right, okay? Fine. Once they claimed that 1.7 million Hispanic jobs were created, yes, we're doing good. We're doing really good. But the rest, about 3 times more jobs than Obama, please. Look, if Trump really created 3 times more jobs for the black community than Obama, when he created like 4 million or some crazy number, like I'm looking at a graph. I need to share the graph with you. The graph I'm looking at, it went from 20 million to 25 million. Really, it's more than 4 million. I'm underestimating where Obama took it, okay? It went from 20 million, hold up, that's Hispanic employment. Black employment went from 15 million to 19, so I'm correct. It's 4 million black, 5 million more Latino jobs. If Trump really tripled that 4 million job creation under Obama, 4 million, hey, I'd have a hard time like not voting for him. But that will require targeted help, where you're like saying, these people on the bottom, let me help these people on the bottom. But he can't do that because Republicans won't go for it. They'll say it's identity politics if you help the people on the bottom. The people at the bottom of the bottom, if you help those people, that's identity politics. And some progressives would say the same thing. They would say, just help everybody. So anyway, Sarah Huckabee Sanders wrong. And look, in regards to her rest of her statement, listen, I don't know if Trump is a racist. I know he's done some racist-like things. He said some racist-like things, okay? The Central Park Five, these are things before he got in office. The Central Park Five saying these guys should go to jail even though DNA evidence exonerated them after they sat in jail for 7 years. Why did he do that? I don't know. Has he done that to some white kids who were locked up, falsely locked up? Has he done that? I don't know. Well, it looks a little racist if he does that to black kids. Even after DNA evidence proved him wrong. The fact is Trump did not want to admit he was wrong. But Sarah says, hey, well, they only started bringing up this racist stuff when Trump started running for election. Well, that's when it got a lot of publicity, frankly. So I don't know him. I never met him. But when you're taking out op-eds, calling for people to be killed in prison or locked up in prison for the rest of their lives, what's that based on, man? Anyway, and remember, back then there was no DNA at the time they were locked up. So anyway, anybody who doesn't know about the Central Park Five, please go check that out. It's a very interesting story. I recently watched a documentary about these young men and getting their lives back. Now, on to the next story. We got, hold on a second, let me see. Deanne Wonder says happy birthday. Happy birthday to me. Thank you, Deanne, I appreciate it. You know? I'm doing my best to get older but better, you know? I'm trying to get better as time goes on. I don't know how many. Katie says, Kate Cantanilla says, I never believe any president in their job stats. It's all made up. I know, right. And you know what? I agree with you. I agree with you. But if they're both using the same numbers, then they're both in the same fantasy world, right? So that's the only reason why you can have that conversation, I feel, is if they're both saying they're pointing at the same thing. What other guide do you have, right? Now, this is not from the jobs report. This is from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, which I don't know if they're from the same source. So my numbers are from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. I don't know where Sarah got her numbers from. I tweeted to her and asked her where she get her numbers from, because I'd really like to know, because I'd like to see where this was. Okay? All right. Now, guys.
President addressed that question directly via Twitter. I'd refer you back to him. I can certainly say I've never heard him use.
All right. So, guys, someone needs to update me about Keith Ellison, because I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what happened. I know there was an election today in Minnesota, and I'd really like to know where the situation is now. For people who don't know, there were some allegations made about Keith Ellison. All right? Allegations that he was abusive. Allegations that he did some things that were, they were definitely not good things. I don't know how they fall on the scale of unlawful, okay? I don't know how they fall on that particular scale. But I was reading something in a place called the Free Beacon, all right, Free Beacon. And the title of the article is Washington Post reporter says Democrats are whistling past the graveyard in Minnesota by ignoring Ellison's allegations, the allegations about Ellison. Now, what caught my attention was Dave Weigel. Dave Weigel, now he's a Washington Post columnist or reporter, and he's written articles that included my name in it. So when his name pops up in an article where someone is interviewing him as if he's sort of like an authority on something besides like peddling stuff for the Washington Post, I want to read it. I want to find out just how much Dave Weigel, what's he talking about. So Dave Weigel, all bad blood aside, all negative things you wrote about me aside because I didn't support Hillary, which is the only reason why he had a problem with me. You know, didn't understand why a black man might not support Hillary. He never got that. Anyway, it goes on to say Washington Post reporter Dave Weigel on Tuesday said accusations Representative Keith Ellison abused a former girlfriend, threatened to damage not just him, but also the Democratic Party. Now, I question even that opening statement that they used from Dave Weigel. Right? These are allegations. Allegations. I don't know if the allegations are going to damage Keith Ellison, let alone the Democratic Party. The allegations. Allegations, I don't think will damage. Well, no, let me take that back. They may damage Keith Ellison, but I doubt if they rub off on the Democratic Party. They will push Keith Ellison out into the pasture before they let him damage the Democratic Party. Dave, if it looks even remotely possible that there could be repercussions and consequences, or consequences and repercussions for the Democratic Party because of Keith Ellison, there will be no more Keith Ellison. At least not the Democratic Party. They will manufacture a story so quick, fast, they will cut him quicker than they cut Al Franken. This is the Democrats we're talking about. You can't come messing with the money. Weigel said rumors of Ellison's behavior floated around Minnesota in recent weeks before a viral Facebook post publicly alleged he abused a former girlfriend by the name of Karen Monahan. There was also a post by her son. So does anyone know what happened today with Ellison? They say Ellison is the favorite to win the Democratic primary, which is being held, as he runs for Minnesota Attorney General. It was held today. Now, Weigel says the party is kind of whistling past the graveyard. A sexual misconduct scandal failed the state's popular Democratic Senator Al Franken. Weigel brings up Al Franken. We know that Al Franken resigned last year in a cloud of, allegations of touching people and doing things, and they had some photos, and he stepped down, and some people are upset that he stepped down. Some people felt he didn't need to step down for that, but he got a lot of pressure, and it was right at the beginning of the Me Too movement, and frankly, he was just a casualty of it. I don't know much else I haven't heard from Al Franken since. He's gone, right? I heard he might run again, though. I don't know. But anyway, they were saying that what Dave Weigel was pointing out is if this damages Keith Ellison, it could also hurt the Democratic Party, because if he stays on the ballot too long, then they won't be able to replace him if he falls to scandal. So Weigel's operating under presumption that it's possible that Keith Ellison will be so damaged by these allegations that he will have to step down. And if he has to step down, well, the Republican is going to be in that job and not a Democrat. I'm more concerned about the person being in the job, doing a good job, and being a fighter for the people. Under some rare possibility that person could be a Republican, hey, I'm all for that too. Under some rare possibility that person might be a Democrat, well, I'm for that too. Keith Ellison to me is progressive at times, and other times he's not. But as it pertains to these allegations, look, the thing that bothers me about this, once again, is that the person said they had a tape and then they don't have the tape. I really need to see this. Also, some of the allegations were just that Ellison was just a bad guy, just a bad mate or a bad date. I mean, they weren't married and it was a bad relationship. It reminded me a little bit of Aziz Ansari, because he was kind of pushy with the lady and didn't treat her well, but didn't treat her horrible, just didn't treat her well, Ellison's thing is a little different. She said he was controlling. It just got really personal. So anyway, I would like to know if anybody, I'm going to check my chat now and see if anybody knows what happened with Keith Ellison. Anybody have an update on Keith Ellison in Minnesota? What happened there? Al Franken thought he was being funny when he did that stuff. I think he did think he was being funny. Who said that? That's my friend Jim Taggart. I do believe, Jim, he thought he was being funny. There were pictures being taken. It wasn't like he was stoned out of his brain, like he was like, No, he was there. He was like joking at some of this stuff, right? But then there were some other things that happened at a fair. Like people started coming out saying, he grabbed my butt at a fair in 1982. He looked down my blouse in 1978. And it's like, it just starts to look bad. In politics, you can't, looking bad is death. Perception in politics is everything. Come on, they put the perception that they're fighting for you. That's how they got elected, right? Like a new person in the office, it's all about perception. They have no track record of doing anything, so it's all perception. So I think it's fair that if a politician, gets sunk by perception, because that's their whole job. Come on, guys. Don't you think? I mean, half of them don't pass legislation, right? What do they really do except have the perception of fighting for the people? So what can they tangibly say they did? You do more tangibly at your job than a politician ever does. Like most politicians, like 90% of politicians. You do more at your job tangibly that we can see. Or you'd be fired, right? But politicians do a lot of perception. Just ask Mitch McConnell. We're fighting really hard for the American people, and we are in the midst of a situation that will result in the It's all perception. There's people watching them going, he reminds me of my uncle. Hasn't done shit. But he reminds me of somebody that I used to go to school with, or my grandfather. He's such a nice old man. So a lot of politics is perception. Let me go next comment. Allegation, says Lori Root. Tim loves hair. Nothing new on Ellison with today per Google search. Thank you, Gibby Carter. I appreciate you, Gibby. Yeah. So yeah, on the Ellison thing, look, how you treat people is important. I did see something that was a little troubling. Somebody tweeted about an arrest, something about someone calling the police on Ellison back in 2005. It seemed to be a domestic-related situation. No charges were pressed, or no charges were. No arrests were made. No charges were pressed. So I don't know how much you can make that connected to this. Okay, I don't know, but all I can tell you is this wasn't the first allegation. But I would just like to say that I feel that being in politics is a very dirty game, a very dirty game, and also people cover up for people too. So you got. When people come for you, they use the media, they can fabricate you, right? They can manufacture a crisis, a situation that makes you look horrible. But also, when you do things, sometimes you can get covered for it. So it's really hard to tell what's going on at any given time. I don't really know what's the deal with Ellison as regards to this, but I would like to know what happened with his race. So, guys, let me know that when you know it, and I'll report on it at that point. Now, I got another article, and this is something that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez quoted in her debate. I wouldn't even call it a debate. It was she was on Cuomo Prime or whatever, and she was talking about a Koch brothers survey. How many people remember the Koch brothers survey that she highlighted, as she mentioned? And she was going down a list of things that this survey by the Koch brothers says about the American people and where people are as far as what they want in regards to policy. So there was this poll. During the month of July, the Marketing Communications Group, In Pursuit Of, launched by the Koch brothers in 2017, conducted a survey of Americans on a range of issues. Now, they say the poll was later written by Real Clear Politics, which spun the results as favorable to the Koch network. Now, what I have here is a graph of policies and how people responded to the question of what they thought about them, okay? So, for instance, lowering taxes. and getting government spending under control. 55% of Americans thought it was a very effective solution. Now, these are not just regular Americans. Like, this isn't a mix of, like, liberals and then a mix of progressives and a mix of conservatives and a mix of, like, Christian fundamentalists or you know, it's like this is just Koch brother people. So, however they feel, this is not a broad segment of America. This would be Koch brother people who would more than likely vote Republican or vote for Trump, who lean more conservative. So that's why this is so interesting, okay? Let me continue. So they want to lower taxes and reel in spending, very obviously, okay? 55% thought that was a good solution. The other 55 thought it was effective. Enforcing equal rights for all. 53% thought this. 31% thought it would be very somewhat effective solution. But when we got to the part of stopping government picking winners and losers and instead letting individuals decide what products or businesses succeed or fail, 40% plus the 34%, which is 74% of Koch brothers people, thought, yeah, we really need that. They even thought it was a very effective solution to what ails America or a very effective solution. So what I'm trying to get you to understand is that on a lot of these issues, all of us are closer together than we think. Of course, you got your outliers on Twitter, your outliers on Facebook, very vocal people that say things that trigger you. Don't be triggered, by the way, please. Try not to be triggered. Hold in the triggers. But what I'm saying, as we go through this, just imagine that these people are your next door neighbors, okay? Preparing ex-offenders to re-enter society as law-abiding citizens. 39% said that would be a very effective solution, and 45% said it would be a somewhat effective solution. Altogether, that's almost 84%. That is 84%. 84% of those people surveyed are in favor of preparing ex-offenders to re-enter the workforce. I mean, come on, guys. I want to shatter some myths about people right now. I want to shatter some ideologies, some stereotypes, some deeply held convictions that you may hold about people and just get you to see that we're not that far apart. Let me go to another thing, okay? Because you would think, right, if you watch CNN and MSNBC, you would think that no conservatives, they just want to throw away people that are in jail. They just want to get rid of them. They want to bury them deep under the jail and give them no pathway back to a real life, a life of freedom and where they can advance themselves, right? But according to this survey, that's not the case. All right, let me keep going. Ending the cronyism that leads to corporate welfare. 37% said that would be a very effective solution. 35% said it would be somewhat an effective solution. So that would say they're in favor of ending cronyism and corporate welfare. Isn't this inspiring? See, they keep telling us how we're so divided, how we are so, like there's this big gulf between us, like these people over here, these people over here, and this big space, and there's no way we can agree on anything. And I'm telling you, that's not what people are saying. They may not say it together, but when they're privately, this is how they feel. Ending harsh sentences for nonviolent petty crimes. 37% said that would be a very effective solution. 40% said it would be a somewhat effective solution. Once again, in favor of ending this for nonviolent offenders and petty crimes. Here goes one. Government paid, I'm aiming for big air now, We going for everything. This is like a money ball shot right here. Government paid tuition for local college or community college. You've been told that, oh man, this is something progressives want. You know, you got the Ben Shapiro, you got these other, you know, I'm pretty sure Cernovich. Well, I haven't heard much from Cernovich lately. But you got these people on the right, these conservatives, who will make you think, right, that there are no conservative people on the planet or in America who could possibly agree with community college being free. 35% of the people surveyed said it would be a very effective solution, and 31% said it would be a somewhat effective solution, meaning they're in favor of it. That's a total of 66%. See, what? See, a lot of times we talk about the fight, the struggle. We talk about how hard it is to get through to people. So it's already working on some folks. Some folks already got the memo. They may not be on Twitter going, I'm a conservative and I feel this way. They may not be in your Facebook group going, hey, I feel this way and I'm a conservative, but they feel this way. It's a big world. You could be bombarded with trolls and not realize that just over that hill, there's some like-minded folks. They may not look like you, they may not dress like you, they may not listen to the same music, you may not watch the same shows, but somehow, some way, they feel the same way about some stuff. What else we got? Uh-oh. Here we go. Big one, right? You know, when we talk about raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour, heads just explode, don't they? Yeah, talking heads explode. The talking heads, their heads explode, right? The people, not so much. 35% of these conservatives felt that would be a very effective solution. Another 30% thought it would be a somewhat effective solution. So 65% of conservatives in a Koch brothers survey thought $15 an hour was a pretty good idea. I may not know a whole lot of stuff. I might not know a bunch of reading and stuff, but I think that if you gave people more money, then people might do a little bit better. Yeah, I don't think everybody's going out and buying crack. Some people are just having a hard time because they don't make enough money per hour. If we raise that, maybe we help some people. See, that's not the stereotype that's in the heads of a lot of us. And I've been trying to get it out of my head too. I'm working to get rid of any stigma that I have about any person, any stereotype, because it's been implanted by people who want to keep us divided and not give us the ability to work together for common good. And I don't care who they are. Even if people feel it, even when people are feeling like, okay, I know this isn't right to paint this broad brush, they have to do it. They have to do it on these networks. Only place where you can be sure, well, you can't be sure because there's money in it too. There's a money aspect to all of this when it comes to media. But what I'm trying to tell you is that $15 minimum wage, that's not something you would think that most conservatives would be in favor of. And the reason why we think that, what's it based on? What brought you and I to that conclusion? Prematurely, without talking to a lot of conservatives. Without talking to them. Why do we feel that way? Because, I don't know, Rachel Maddow had a group of them together on a CNN thing, on MSNBC panel. She had like 10 people in a room that one time, and that lady stood up and said that dumb thing like, I think they just take their money and go down to the casino and spend it all. Like, because of her? That's what... All right. What else we got? Here goes one. Now, we're all told that conservatives, for the most part, particularly conservatives who, always vote red, any deadhead red, just love Wall Street. They just love Wall Street. Well, 33% of conservatives in this survey said, nah, we need more regulations on Wall Street. Yeah, Mr. Pinstripe Suit, you need more regulations, you bastard. You ruined my retirement. 33% of them said that, and another 36% said, yeah, that would be somewhat effective. So 69% of people surveyed, conservatives, not progressives, not hippies passing out weed in Portland, but conservatives in places like Oklahoma, Minnesota. How many conservatives? Minnesota votes blue, don't they? West Virginia. West Virginia is kind of purple. I don't know. Name a red place. Missouri? Okay, Missouri. Alabama, the home of Jeff Sessions. Almost 70% of those people want more regulation on Wall Street. This is contrary to what they've been feeding us. Get it? Here goes one. Because we love saying this, and I'm guilty of it too, man. I'm guilty. I'm as guilty as anybody. Well, not anybody, because some people are horrible. I mean, gosh, some people are just unabated, just bash, bash, bash. But check this out. You know that belief that conservatives don't want to help, children after they're born. That they only want to help children when children are in the womb. That's when they want to save them, right? Well, according to this survey, that may not be totally true. There may be a segment of people who feel that way, but not everybody, okay? It's just that, once again, the negative people seem to be the loudest. And that, by the way, that's the people that they focus on. Check it out. 30% of conservatives in this survey said they are in support of increasing government assistance for child care. And another 39% said they think that would be a somewhat effective solution. That is 69% of conservatives in this survey. And believe me, the Koch brothers ain't going to talk to people out there in progressives in, say, Washington State. No, they're not going to Salt Lake. Well, hell, where I've been, Salt Lake City, Utah, bunch of progressives, parts of Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, bunch of progressives. That's not who Koch brothers are talking to. Get it? Almost 70% of the conservatives surveyed here said they would support increasing government assistance for child care. This is a very important segment I'm doing, guys. I want us to look in the mirror. I want us to examine our thoughts and how we operate. Not just look at other people who may vote Republican and just automatically come up in our minds with what they believe. I'm not saying there aren't people who think, forget the kids. He stole a pack of gum, let him rot in jail for 30 years. That'll teach him. I'm not saying there aren't people like that. What I'm saying is, it's not as many of them as you think. And I want you to just think for a second, or imagine, take this walk with me. Is it possible there's something to be gained by you believing that all these conservatives are diametrically opposed to all the things you think would help the country? Is it possible that some people want to spin a narrative that makes you think these people are your enemy? Or that your enemy is a lot bigger than it is on the issues? I don't mean militaristically, I don't mean violently. What I'm saying is ideology. Yeah, they may not like the label Democrat, but there are things they want. What did we learn from Bernie Sanders when he went to the Midwest and he talked to people about health care? We learned that those people want health care too. They want it too. All I'm trying to get us to, all I'm trying to share with you, I can't get you to do anything. All I can do is share with you what I gleaned from this. And that is, we're not as divided as people want us to believe. Yeah, you got some pussy hats and you got some MAGA hats, but they're both hats. They're still in the Hat family. That doesn't mean we can't agree on child care. We can't agree on community college. We can't agree on Wall Street regulation. We can't agree on $15 minimum wage. I'm telling you, that's what most of these conservatives agreed that they think would be a good solution to make the country better. And meanwhile, we got these hacks telling us, oh no, that's just a fringe thing. You'll never get elected thinking that. You never get elected running on that. It would never happen. We can't go to the left on these issues. It's not about left or right. It's about pain. And I got a feeling there are conservative people that want to send their kids to college that can't afford to do so. I got a feeling there are conservative people all across this country who wish they could make a little bit more an hour, or that their children need to make a little bit more an hour. That's what I believe. And I believe there's an incentive in spinning a narrative that tells you and me and all of us and everybody in my wolf pack that these people are so horrible and they can never agree with you on anything. You want to say to kids, they want the kids to rot in jail. You want the kids to have free meals, have meals at school, and they want the kids to bring their own lunch. And if they can't afford it, to go hungry. Now, I don't know about you, but that pisses me off considerably. Considerably. No, it pisses me off a lot. It does. They're being lied to. We're being lied to. You're being lied to. I'm being lied to. We're all being lied to 24/7. Part of their story they're being told is that we just want something for nothing, that we don't actually want people to have to earn anything. Like, you just give them everything, give them everything, give them everything. And then, no, that's not true, but that's what they're selling on the other side. They're telling that we just want people just to come in the country, there'll be no border at all. Everybody just come in and nobody had to do nothing. Or we want rapists and killers and arms dealers and to just walk out of jail and then walk right into school and work as custodians. Like, they come up, I'm telling you, they just bait and bait and bait. All right. I think I've stated my case. I don't know if I won any of you over. To some of you, maybe I was preaching to the choir. But I feel really strongly about this survey and what it says about some people. Okay. I got a story. I got this last story, man. And we're on such a high note right now, I don't even know if I want to show it. But you know what? I don't get to choose the foolishness that people do in this world. If it was up to me, this would not be a story. In fact, if it was up to me, this never would have happened. But you know what? I'm going to run this clip. Now, don't get me wrong. It's no death. There's no shooting. I don't want you to think you got to run, you know. But there is a little bit of violence, right? Here goes the clip, guys.
That term or anything.
Dang, this door is locked. She bleeding. No.
One more time, guys. Now, a lot of people who saw this clip for some reason, they say when she did that with her arm, as he was turned towards her, it looks like he was following her, it looks like that. They consider that a reasonable response to what she just did here, which is sort of like extend her hand. Let me see if I can back up a little bit more. That right there, which is like Back off of me. That's how I take it. One more time. And then he grabs her arm, and then he does this.
Ooh! Ooh, he just hit her! Ooh! Ah, dang, this door is locked. She bleeding. No.
All right. All right, folks. And I hate to end on this note, but we got to do it because there are some people. There's some people who may not have saw that video. They may not be aware of this story. Let me give you a little background on the story. This lady and her 2 kids, toddlers, as you can see, 2, 3 years old. She must have been in there getting her nails done or her hair done or something, right? She was at this place called June's Beauty Supply in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Beauty supply store, maybe she's just buying some beauty supplies, maybe not getting her hair done. On the way out the door, one of the toddlers picked up a keychain, a little keychain, and he had it in his hand. As they left the store, as they walk out the door, the owner runs out and says, "That child stole our keychain." Well, the mother had no idea that the child had the keychain. As you can see, the child's really short. She didn't tell the child, "Hey, child, steal this little tiny keychain, this $1 keychain. Please take this. I like to risk my ability to take care of you. This is our big thing. We go to beauty supply stores and we steal keychains. This is how we do." No, that's not what happened. The mother didn't know that the child had the keychain. So anyway, when the owner said he took the keychain, I'm sure that there was some type of argument, but the mother gave the man the keychain. But that's not where it ended because they were arguing at this point. Maybe he thought, like I stated, she's a part of this crime spree, this criminal enterprise of stealing keychains from beauty supply stores, risking losing their kids for a keychain. It's probably what he thought. Wonder what kind of news he watches that would lead him to believe that a mother of 2 toddlers is in the habit of stealing keychains after she buys merchandise from you. Hey, so anyway, as you can see, words are exchanged. And I'm not saying those were good words on either side. I couldn't hear him. I could hear her drop an F-bomb. Yes, she used bad language. But the thing about this is, see, I don't condone men sucker punching men. I don't. What happened to my... Anyway, somehow my chat went away. I don't condone men sucker punching men. I don't condone men sucker punching women. I just don't condone sucker punching. I don't condone just beating anybody up just for any old dumb reason. I support self-defense. So my problem is this. If you think the mother knew about the keychain and that, if you think it's wrong for a woman to do you like this, to back you off of her, whatever you think. I have a problem with people that think that this woman deserved to get punched in the mouth. I have a problem with that. There are people right now who were on Twitter arguing in defense of this man who punched a woman in the mouth who needed stitches. I don't know what's wrong with us. But I think I know what it is. I do think I know what it is. Some people have a malfunction in the brain. They do. They believe the worst of people at all times. This man struck a woman because he was angry. That's why he punched her. And as her children cried seeing their mother bleed, he probably felt bad. That's why he went back in the store. He was later arrested, Mr. June, owner of this store. He was arrested, charged with a misdemeanor assault and battery, and has a court date scheduled for September 12th. where he faces a punishment fine or community service. Now, the woman that he punched, she can also sue Mr. June if she decides to. But my thing, guys, is it's just really sad how people make excuses for this type of thing. I saw a clip in Baltimore where a black officer beats up a black man and another officer, black officer, basically lets it go down. I don't support that either. See, it's not about the color of the individual, it's about their action. All women deserve to be treated a certain type of way, right? Men shouldn't punch women, period. This is on tape. This is not an allegation. We saw it. And the fact that there are men defending a man punching a woman in the mouth for something that's so silly as a keychain, or her doing him like this to get her off her, I just think that we are at a point. Someone actually tweeted to me, Tim, she hit him first. Don't be a simp. I don't know the age of the person who sent this, nor do I know the gender of the person who sent that message to me. But I do know that that person, if they are a man, you are the definition of a simp. The best character trait of a wise man is patience. The second best trait of a wise man is wisdom. Neither of that is displayed in this man here. I feel bad that you may have the opportunity to create offspring who you will raise to believe stupid crap like you believe, such false ideas of manhood. Look, I think women can take care of themselves in most situations. So I'm not a person who thinks they need to cape for women. There's some powerful, smart, intelligent women, and some tough women too, that will kick our butts, give them an opportunity. So I don't believe you got to jump in and try to defend women at every turn. But this is what I do believe. I do believe that punching a woman, sucker punching a woman, and then you being on Twitter, tweeting to me how I'm wrong, that he had a right to do it. I just think, man, I feel bad for any woman that would date you, and any daughter that may live under your roof, and any young man who may listen to you or look to you for guidance. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. I want to give a big shout out to everybody who supports this show. You make this show possible. Shout out to everybody in my chat moderators. I love you guys. Thank you for taking time out of your lives to try to make our chat a little bit better. Thank you for everybody who supports this show, keeps it going. We're doing the best we can do to make this show better. I hope you see growth in this show, and it's because of you guys, so I really appreciate it. So, James Brooker, that was improper of him. Kids are kids. I think she did the right thing. I think she did too. She gave it back. What else could you do? You know, maybe if you don't insult a person, there's a way to address things. I think for him, I think there's a way that he could have addressed this. Maybe there was a language barrier. I really don't know, but that does not excuse him punching her in the mouth. It doesn't excuse him punching her at all. Good night, everyone. Ruby Jack. Jilly Love says, if the Dems are on the left, what does that make her? She's a green. That makes you perfect just the way you are, Jilly. All right, guys. Good night, all. Thank you, Brian Crosby, Lisa Malone, Eli, Steve Wolfbrand, Lori Root Riley. Thank you, Lori, for joining the Tim Black Wolf Pack. I saw you. I saw what you did. Thank you for joining. Guys, if you want to join, please go to patreon.com, Tim's Take Live. I appreciate you. And Eleanor K. Yo, what's up? See, I'm still small enough where I know my subscribers, a lot of them, and I know Noah has been around for quite some time. And it's really great seeing you again, brother. All right, people. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good remainder of your Tuesday. And like I always say, don't let nobody take your cornbread. Peace. This show is brought to you by justinformed.com. If you want to be just informed, go to justinformed.com. Brought to you also by TBTV Media. That's my thing, The Tim Black Show. I love you, and we are gone.